coming back with breaking news. The Indiana Fever has pulled off the upset of the season. And I told y'all earlier, bro, the Indiana Fever had a chance to do this. If they make it to the next round, Becky Hammond was already complaining about the format.
Caitlin Clark just walked straight into enemy territory and walked out with the win, but not before a storm of boos rained down on the Indiana Fever in Atlanta. And here's the kicker. Clark and her teammates didn't just take it. They clapped back, they laughed, they threw it right back in the faces of the crowd. This wasn't your average WNBA game. This wasn't polite applause and respect for a superstar rookie. This was hostile. This was personal. The Fever weren't guests in that arena. They were villains. And Caitlin Clark knew it. She embraced it. She fed off it. Now think about that for a second.
Hyping up black Air Forces, and I fucking love it. It is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant watching them hype up black forces. Could not be more happy. Could not be more happy with seeing them hype up black Air Forces, because it is hilarious. It's objectively funny watching them hype up black forces. And then this is what I'm making the video about. This is what happened as they left the stadium, and this is what you like to see. So they get booed walking out. Other teams, if you get booed walking out, the WNBA starts an investigation. They do. The WNBA starts an investigation for a lot of teams. For a lot of teams, if they get booed. Because we know there was an investigation into the Fever because the Fever got booed. Or because a player got booed. Because like Angel Reese got booed, there was an investigation into the Indiana Fever. And my favorite part about all this is that look who the first person is. They were just walking.
The most hyped player in women's basketball, the one everyone either loves or hates, getting booed so loud you could feel it through the screen. And instead of shrinking, she doubled down. She sent a message, not just to Atlanta, but to the entire league. Because here's the truth nobody wants to admit. The Fever aren't just another team. They're the team. They're the story. And with every arena they walk into, the spotlight follows, whether fans like it or not. So tonight's win, it wasn't just a box score. It wasn't just Clark dropping shots or Lexie Hull making hustle plays.
And for the first time in 10 years, the Indiana Fever will be advancing to the damn semifinals. Guys, that was the 6th ranked team. They should have been number 2, number 3. We know what happened. Adversity. You overcome adversity and you get it done. They won this game in Atlanta. I told y'all earlier, Aaliyah Boston was going to have to be the difference maker. It was going to come down to Aaliyah Boston.
Tonight was about something bigger. It was about identity, about stepping into the villain role, wearing it proudly, and proving you can still silence the noise when the game's on the line. And if you think this was just about basketball, you're dead wrong. Subscribe now, because what happened in Atlanta tonight is just the beginning of a much bigger story. Let's rewind for a moment, because this moment in Atlanta didn't just come out of nowhere. It's been building for months. From the second Caitlin Clark was drafted, the Fever went from a team barely making headlines to the most watched, most scrutinized, most talked about squad in the WNBA.
Look who the first person is. They were just walking. They're just walking and booing. Look who the first person is that's giving the L signs to the crowd. It's KK Timpson. It's KK. Caitlin, you know. Caitlin absolutely doubles down on it. Doubles down and is giving the crowd an L. Love it. Love it. The one player.
Every arena she steps into is louder, every play is analyzed, and every single mistake becomes a headline. That's not just pressure, it's a spotlight hotter than anything the league has seen in years. But here's the twist. With all that attention came backlash. Fans of other teams started booing. Opposing players started chirping. Media outlets couldn't decide whether to crown Clark as the savior of women's basketball or tear her down before her rookie season even ended. And for the Fever, that meant one thing. Whether they wanted it or not, they were now...
That double standard has fueled this fire, and you could feel every ounce of it in Atlanta.
Because when those boos started raining down, it wasn't just noise, it was a message. We don't want you here. But instead of folding, instead of shying away, Caitlin and her teammates leaned in. They threw up W's, they grinned through the hate, and they turned enemy energy into fuel. And that, right there, is the difference. This isn't just a team trying to survive a season. This is a team being forged in fire, one hostile arena at a time. So how exactly did this all go down in Atlanta? Let's break it piece by piece. The Fever walk off the floor after grinding out a huge road win. The crowd? They're furious, booing like it's a playoff game, even though this is just another regular season clash. That's when it happens. The cameras catch it. KK Timpson is the first to turn around and throw a sign back at the fans. No fear, no hesitation, just straight up energy. Then Caitlin Clark doubles down. The rookie phenom, the one carrying the weight of the league, looks at the crowd and flashes a W. Message received. You booed us, but we left with the win. That's villain energy. That's confidence under fire. And here's what made it all so brutal. Atlanta had chances to close this one. Their home court wasn't massive, but the crowd was into it. It felt hostile. But down the stretch, the dream simply couldn't finish. Meanwhile, Lexie Hull, who had been struggling all game, made the gritty plays that mattered. Diving for loose balls, taking charges, hustle that doesn't show up on highlight reels but wins games. So, on one side, you've got a dream team collapsing in crunch time. On the other, you've got a Fever squad that doesn't just survive the boos, they thrive on them. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, turning jeers into jet fuel. This wasn't luck. This wasn't just another win. It was a statement that no matter how loud the arena gets, the Fever aren't backing down. They're embracing the hate and flipping it into victories. Here's where it gets messy. Because let's be real, if this exact same thing happened to almost any other team, the narrative would have been completely different. When Angel Reese got booed earlier this season, boom, instant investigation. But instead of breaking under it, Indiana has leaned in. Caitlin Clark knows exactly what's happening. She understands that every single arena she walks into is either there to worship her or to watch her burn. There's no middle ground. And what does she do? She leans into the villain role. She throws W's at the crowd. She smirks through the chaos. She thrives in it. And here's the irony. Those boos in Atlanta, they weren't disrespect. They were validation. Proof that the Fever matter. Proof that Clark matters. Because in sports, nobody boos irrelevance. You boo threats. You boo the ones you're scared of. So when Atlanta fans tried to rattle the Fever, they actually did the opposite. They confirmed what Indiana already knew. This team has officially become the league's lightning rod. Loved, hated, cheered, booed, it doesn't matter. They're always the story. Here's the truth that casual fans don't always understand. Boos don't just happen in a vacuum. They test a player's psyche. They dig at your confidence. For rookies, they can be career-defining. Some players shrink, some lose focus. But Caitlin Clark, she's flipping the script. Watch how she handled Atlanta. She didn't rush shots. She didn't force plays out of frustration. She read the floor, adjusted to the defense, and let the game come to her. That's not just poise. That's maturity beyond her years. Most rookies in that environment would have folded. Clark used it as fuel. And then there's Lexie Hull. Let's be honest, she was getting cooked most of the night. Defensively overplaying, struggling to keep up, missing assignments. But when it mattered most, she turned into exactly what the Fever needed. Grit. Diving into passing lanes, sacrificing her body, making those chaotic hustle plays that don't make ESPN highlights but absolutely swing games. That's the Fever's DNA right there. Imperfect, scrappy, but relentless. Even KK Timpson's reaction matters. First one to throw a sign back at the crowd? That wasn't just emotion, it was identity. This is a young squad learning that they're not here to be polite guests in anyone's house. They're here to disrupt, to rattle, to win ugly if they have to. And here's the psychological twist. Every single time they survive a hostile arena, every single time they turn boos into W's, they grow. They harden.
For years, critics complained that women's basketball lacked energy.
lacked rivalries, lacked that raw us versus them edge you see in the NBA. Well, guess what? It's here. The Fever walk into arenas and instantly turn the temperature up. Fans either worship Caitlin Clark or boo her like she's LeBron in 2010 after The Decision. There's no middle ground anymore, and whether you love or hate her, you're tuning in. That's growth, that's ratings, that's relevance. But here's the catch. Clark's rise is exposing fault lines. Every fan base outside Indiana now sees the Fever as villains. Every opponent feels the extra weight of media coverage, and the league itself is caught in the middle. Because while the attention is historic, it also magnifies every controversy, every double standard, every ounce of favoritism or lack thereof. Think about it. When the Fever get booed, it's brushed off as just sports. When another team's star gets booed, investigations, think pieces, outrage. That inconsistency is fueling resentment, and ironically, making the Fever even easier to hate. But here's the paradox. That hate is exactly what's making them must-watch. Sports need villains. The NBA had the Bad Boy Pistons, the Miami Heat's Big Three, the Golden State Dynasty. Every era has a team you can't ignore, even if you want to see them lose. The WNBA just found theirs. And Caitlin Clark? She's not running from it. She's leaning in. She's turning jeers into headlines, boos into motivation, and road games into her personal proving ground. Love her or hate her, she's dragging the league into a new era of attention. And it all started with a wave, a grin, and a W to the crowd in Atlanta. At the end of the day, this wasn't just about boos. This wasn't just about one win in Atlanta. This was about the birth of something bigger, something the Fever have quietly embraced, and Caitlin Clark has made impossible to ignore. Because let's face it, the WNBA has never seen anything like this before. Every arena the Fever step into turns into a spectacle. Every fan, whether they're cheering or booing, is invested. And every game feels like a proving ground, not just for the Fever, but for the league itself. That's why this win matters. It wasn't pretty. Lexie Hull struggled. So the next time the Fever step into an arena, remember Atlanta. Remember the boos. Remember the rookie who turned jeers into fuel, and a team that turned noise into a statement. So smash that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and tell me, are the Fever the heroes of the WNBA or the villains we've all been waiting for?